Hey, what's up? It's Tetris, and we're in studio with Aquilo. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Pretty
really
good.
good.
Pretty busy lately. You guys are touring, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty full on, but
What you don't know is that before this started, he didn't even know what day it was.
I never know what day it is. This isn't like a rarity. Even if I was at home, I still probably we struggle with that.
We struggle. Well, you guys have been really busy. You're releasing new music. Now, you have the new song out right now. It's called I Could Fight on a Wall. Now, that's a very interesting title, and I read that it was about a little bit, your experience on the road. So can you guys dive into a little bit more of the process in creating that song?
In creating the song, what do you mean what it's about? Or
Yeah, what it's about, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's sort of like a metaphor for a relationship and what you would do and wouldn't do for someone that you were involved with. I think that's in its simplest form is what it's about.
Now, when you guys are writing, do you write together from one person's perspective and the other kind of elaborates on top of that?
Yeah.
Or how do you abide when it comes to like the subject
I
matter?
think that's a good way to explain it, really.
There's no set way. We've never written songs with a set way of doing it. Sometimes it just happens, and it happens in different ways every time. More often than not, we write about stuff that we've been through, but we also like to put ourselves in other people's situations. And I Could Fight on a Wall is one of those, where we've written about someone else's situation.
And does that, when you're writing from someone's perspective like that, do you feel like it's a more difficult or easier because you get to be kind of creative?
You can go wherever you want.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm
what's so
saying.
beautiful about writing from someone else's perspective. Because
You don't get so attached. You don't get so attached to the lyrics and worry about.
You're limited, aren't you, with yourself, with your own sort of perspective. As soon as you start writing about someone else's, you could just enter into a completely different world.
That's a good point. And I mean, going on a tangent, but like, I feel like in this industry, a lot of times now, artists write songs and then people like go, oh my God, who is that about? Well, who are they writing about? Is this a past thing? Do you feel like that's something that should be explored when people listen to your songs? Do you want them to think like, oh, I wonder if I'm connecting with them because they've been through this?
We always say that we don't really like
Don't want to
explaining the lyrics because we
like
people making their own mind up about what it's about, because some people might perceive that song completely different to the other person, and there's no wrong or right way.
Even us sometimes one song will mean something to me and it'll mean something slightly different to Tom.
Wow, that's awesome.
We'd like to keep it that way, really.
Really? And you guys are working on the new project called 2, and it's being released in 2 parts. Now, what made you guys think to kind of approach the release in that way?
Well, there's a few different reasons. I would say the first was we released our first album, Silhouettes, in January, and normally people go and tour their album, but we decided to just keep making music because it felt right.
Nice.
And and then we made this first half of what could be a second album, and it was basically like, why don't we, in this day and age, you can just stick music out. Why
you can?
Why, I don't know, why linger around and wait for us to finish, like fully finish the whole piece when we can just we just feed it to people as it comes along.
Wow.
Also, I think people digest music so differently these days as well. Like I only really listen to albums if I've got the CD in the car.
Really, you still to this day are listening to the CD in the car?
Yeah, that's because I've got a crap car.
Well, that's not a bad thing, because I will say I bought a CD the other day at Amoeba, and I was very distraught when I realized I had nowhere to play it.
Oh, really?
I was like, wait, what am I supposed to do with this thing?
Yeah.
But you got a vinyl player, right?
No. I do not have a vinyl player, and you just embarrassed me in front of all the people on the internet that I'm not cool enough to own a vinyl player. But no, that's cool that you still listen to music on CD, and I think that's awesome that you're releasing your project that way, because as you said, people listen to music so instantly now, and you can just kind of give it to the fans.
It's also sort of about, we want to release the first half and give people time to digest it. Because it can often be 5 songs can be quite a lot to digest and get to understand, and it will all make sense when we give the other half of the album as well. I don't know, we don't know anyone else that's done it, and we just figured let's just do it.
Be innovators, do it. It's a new frontier out there, And I find it interesting that you guys have different perspective, because you also from the UK. Now, do you feel like that has affected the way that you approach music in the States, being from a different part of the country, the world, excuse me, in that perspective?
You know what? I'd say America has played quite a big part in terms of the new music.
You travel anywhere and not long enough. It is going to change how you think and how you look at things. I think we've only done this for a short period of time, but you learn so much from traveling to different places. And it does. I guess it does, yeah.
You hear different things, you meet different people that are worlds apart from anything that you'd be able to meet back home in whatever village you're from, for example. And I think being over here has inspired us, especially with the new music. But I don't think it's changed us.
Inspired, not changed, everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Very clear difference there. Now, when touring, are the crowds different? Because I will say, I've never been to a concert internationally, but I know, like, when I go to a concert in LA versus when I go in a different city, there's just a different feel. There's different vibes for different places. So have you felt that way from touring?
Yeah, I think so. San Francisco was pretty mental. Like, those guys were...
I love it when you get... It's always in America. You seem to get people shouting things from the crowd.
Do we do that? Sorry.
No, but there's always that guy that shouts that like inappropriate thing, and it's kind of like
we just
shout.
It
works. Like, I like it. It's good.
At different
times. I want
times.
everyone to feel like they're there on stage. You know, I want it to feel a little bit more.
You know, working
involved.
in this industry, I do find people like to scream at celebrities and musicians. So you'll get used to it traveling around America. That's fun. Now, one of the things I noticed when I was looking at you guys' music and researching is that I love pop music, and then you guys get lots of great compliments from like a lot of different outlets when it comes to being, you know, at the forefront of kind of this electronic pop sound. Mixed Mags called it cinematic pop. And Rolling Stone said it was emotionally unashamed. Now, do you guys...
Emotionally unashamed?
Yes.
Wow.
I was reading and I was like, wow, these guys are getting like amazing reviews for making good pop music. And so often I feel like pop music is one of those things that people go, oh, it's pop, you know. And then you can find people like yourselves that make awesome, meaningful pop music. How do you feel about being those compliments kind of in that landscape of the pop world?
It's pretty amazing. Like, we never really...
Pop's a broad term.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is a broad term, but
yeah.
I still feel like the music sort of does come under that. But we never thought when we were writing music in my little basement when we were a little bit younger that it would amount to anything like this. So any sort of compliment that comes from anybody is just amazing. So yeah, to be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you feel unashamed, emotionally unashamed?
Oh,
is that how you feel?
Emotionally unashamed. Yeah.
No, I mean,
very emotional.
And
I'm unashamed.
Yeah, I'm unashamed.
But when you were creating your first music, did you have like a genre or something that inspired you that you felt like you guys were going in that
There was
way?
loads of things that inspired us when we started writing music, but
there's no set genre.
Yeah, and we didn't really go out with it thinking that it would become anything either. It sort of took us by surprise, and we got emails from like managers and people like that were actually interested. And that was what was so bizarre about it all. But yeah,
it's funny. We spent years as teenagers in like different like Tom's in a metal band. I was in a grunge band.
Oh really?
Yeah, but I mean honestly, like you wouldn't believe like how far we drove to gigs we weren't allowed to play because we're too young and stuff. And it's funny, is the moment that you sort of stop trying. It sounds so bizarre, but the moment we stopped trying and just did it because it was just fun, you know, we were just making music
in his basement, right?
Yeah.
It was like a recording project, really. It was just like...
People just started opening their eyes to it. It was really weird just to think all those years of like just slogging away.
I feel like we didn't really know each other that well when we started this.
But through the music you guys probably...
Ben lives across the road, and he's a bit younger than me, so we never really hung out that much. But I came back from university, and then we wrote, and I was like, oh, he just put a song out on SoundCloud, and I found his music on SoundCloud. Right?
It's pretty messed up.
Come across the street, brother.
Yeah,
I heard
exactly,
this great song on SoundCloud. Let's work. Now, this basement, is this your parents' house?
Yeah.
That you were. Now, were they annoyed during the recording process?
Well, yeah.
I'm just like, hey, the guy from across the street's coming. We're recording music, and that's what's happening tonight.
Yeah, basically.
Sounds good. Well, it was really nice to meet you guys. Now, as you guys are about to wrap up the tour, right?
Yeah.
What would you like to tell your fans is like the next thing they can expect or grab from you guys?
We've just been working like solidly making music. So there's music coming.
And we have a new album out.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, we sort of do.
Yeah, we do.
Guys, we have a new album out. It's out right now. Well, definitely check out these guys. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, nice one. Cheers.
Thank you very much.